The living room is where you make life's most beautiful memories. But your sofa shouldn't be the one remembering them. The new life-resistant, high-performance furniture collection from Ashley is designed to withstand all the spills, slip-ups, and muddy paws that come with the best parts of life. Ashley high-performance sofas and recliners are soft, on-trend, and easy to clean. Shop the high-performance furniture in-store or online at ashley.com. Ashley, for the love of home.
Meet the next generation of podcast stars with SiriusXM's Listen Next program, presented by State Farm. As part of their mission to help voices be heard, State Farm teamed up with SiriusXM to uplift diverse and emerging creators. Tune in to Stars and Stars with Issa, as host Issa Nakazawa dives into birth charts of her celeb guests. This is just the start of a new wave of podcasting. Visit statefarm.com to find out how we can help prepare for your future. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
On March 12, 2018, Brentwood, New York artist Craig Mack passed away at the age of 47. His debut album, Project Funk the World, was released on September 20, 1994 under Bad Boy Records and produced timeless classics such as Flava in Your Ear and Get Down. I reached out to legendary producer Easy Mo B, who produced 5 tracks on Project Funk the World, to talk about the late MC.
My man, get a cup and put some change inside your hand. Now hold up.
What was your role on Craig Mack's first album, Project Funk the World?
My role on Craig Mack's album, Project Funk the World, was as a producer. I produced 5 songs on the album, namely Flava in Your Ear.
And if you didn't know who's rhyming, I guess I'm gonna say Craig Mack with perfect timing.
Get Down.
Welcome to the world of Mac. On Mac, you small like saying that you don't feel like Pac.
Judgment Day.
Back when I was born, now you was wrong, so now your ass gets torn. Wake it up, back. My style is bona fide, fortified on my bad side.
When God Comes.
What the fuck's going on inside the bed? Shit ain't Baltimore. Fake is how it is.
And a track called Mainline.
When did you, prior to producing those 5 tracks, when did you first meet Craig Mack, and what were your first impressions of him, not just as a person, but also as an artist? Was there anything that kind of stood out to you?
First, it started off with Puffy, going from intern at Uptown Records, and he came to me. I remember he announced that, I'm starting my own label. So, however he got a hold of Craig Mack, he got him. He brought him to me. It's like, I want you to do a track for him. So there was that I had that I was holding for a while for a certain artist. I don't want to keep repeating it because, but
yeah,
Puff was like, why are you holding that? Like, let me get that. Like, I'll cut you a check for that right now. So that track became the first track that I submitted for his new artist, Craig Mack. And that was the Flava in Your Ear track. And then from there on, then we recorded Get Down, the Mainline track, Judgment Day.
What was it like working with Greg together in studio? What was he like? Did you kind of, not the Flava in Your Ear beat, but the other beats, did you kind of create the beat that's on the spot? Did he write to those beats? Did he write in studio? How was he someone working with in studio?
Craig, he had a number of different personalities when it came to writing and creating in the studio. There was times where he was up and he was excited and real animated and laughing, ha ha. Then there's other times when I watched him struggle with when he was coming up to the track. He's like, "Won't be, man. I'm trying to get this right. Write this right thing down. And this track is fire." Like, and he was struggling. Sooner or later, then finally he came with what he came. Personality-wise, if I had to compare him to somebody, I would say it was a cross between Biz Markie and Busta Rhymes. And the reason why I would make those comparisons is because we all know Biz Markie, he had like the I don't know if you want to call it like the drunken style in rap. And he could be real comical with his flow and everything. And then the other half of the comparison to Busta Rhymes comes from just being animated, you know. He was real animated. Even when he rhymed and stood in front of you freestyling, he's using his hands, and he's doing all these hand movements, and he vocally, tone wise, he's dipping low and then coming back up. Don't play all those vocal tails and lows, you know what I mean? And then the animation with the hand movements. I'm like, yo, this dude he's animated. So not to compare him to Busta Rhymes, but you understand what I'm saying? The animated thing is a cross between the two. That's how he came off to me. But no, he wasn't copying them. Definitely had his own style.
Easy. I want to ask you about a couple of the tracks and a little bit more about Craig, but I just have so Project Funk the World dropped September 20th, 1994 on Bad Boy Records. Can you kind of take us back to that time in 94? What was the mood of the industry when the album dropped, and how is this album meant to be different and even similar, for that matter, for what was being heard at the time?
Well, when we go back to September 1994 for the release of the single first, and then the album Project Funk the World, one thing you got to understand is that at that particular time right there, West Coast was rocking hard. Mm-hmm. It was kind of kicking our ass. I'm not even going to lie. In 1994, you had Doggy Style. Snoop, he was rocking. And formerly, just before that, Doggy Style came off of the heels of the Chronic. And that, for the most part, right there, on a larger scale, especially on the commercial scale, even though it was hip-hop, I mean, that's what was really, really doing well, doing the best. So when Flava in Your Ear entered, it was not looked upon as, it was this totally different sound that came out of left field. You know, the whole funky feel to the track, all the way to that screaming siren that I put in the track. That it was almost like, you know, when in the summertime, like in the hood, you know, we would sit on the steps, on the sidewalk, on the benches in the park. You hear this loud ass fire truck come barreling down the street, and it's louder than anything. You cannot ignore it. That's what Flava in Your Ear was in Craig Mack's entry. It was that fire truck barreling, coming, ramming down the street, louder than anything that you just could not ignore. And from that point on, to be honest, the odds were in our favor. When I say our favor, I mean as far as East Coast hip-hop. That just kind of like put New York back on the map. And I have to be clear in my speaking, not like I'm speaking in an East versus West sense. I'm just speaking in particular at the time, what was number one, what was rocking the hardest, and how Craig Mack, when he came in, it was just like this aggressive entry, man, that just kind of knocked everything down and changed course. New York kind of regained its title and took a brand new direction. And then you already know from there on what happened with Bad Boy Entertainment, with Biggie and all the other artists that followed. It's almost like the takeover.
You know, obviously, Flava, like you mentioned, I mean, Flava in Your Ear and Flava in Your remix have really stood the test of time. Was there ever, when the track, you know, hit and dropped, was there ever worry on Craig's part that this would be a track that kind of would define him, you know, be that track that everyone would want to hear, or was he not even thinking that at the time? He was just really wanting to be an artist.
From the impact of that song, that first song, to be honest, those first two singles, Flava in Your Ear and the following, Get Down, he didn't really have a choice. But across the span of those two tracks, the sound of those two tracks and the effect that came from him, that's what became his trademark. And he had no other choice but to just like kind of deal with that.
When you heard Craig's lyrics on Flava in Your Ear, what was your first impressions of the track, of what he did?
That boy is good. Like Eddie Murphy said in what was that, Coming to America. Nah, really, seriously, that's what I felt like. I felt like, yo, this dude is, like I said, he was so different than anybody that I had ever heard besides that Biz and Buster comparison that I made. I felt like the track was definitely going to get noticed. There's been some things that in my time that I produced, and I had a feeling that maybe it might slip under, like might run past like water, people might not get it. But this was a track, the lyrics and the beat combined. I was like, oh yeah. I think we definitely gonna see some results from this one. Definitely.
When you guys produced that, when you produced Get Down and he laid the vocals over that, what was the kind of the studio dynamic for that one? Is that something where you both kind of talked about what your goal with the track was going to be, or were you just creating the beats and he was just writing to that particular beat at the time?
You know what the amazing thing is like after something incredible happens, right? You take, for instance, these records and Craig Mack that we're talking about right now. People will come back years later, like how you are right now, like, you know, what were you thinking? You know what? There was no special magic. I was just trying to do the most banging track. And I think lyrically, he was really trying to come with it too. At that time, you got to understand that MCs, rappers had more of a liberty to be lyrical. And when I say lyrical, genuine hip-hop lyrical. Not where you had to have this commercial formulaic thing going on and trying to appease R&B or this and that. Yeah, you wanted to get on the radio, but I'm just saying there was a lot more freedom back then lyrically for rappers to express themselves, and musically as producers back then we were able to take more chances, free to take all the chances that we wanted. So Flava in Your Ear, what it was, but as far as Get Down, if I had to describe Get Down is like a slightly more up-tempo, crispier, fuller, more musical track. Because Flava in Your Ear, if I had to draw it in my mind in a picture, Flava in Your Ear got holes in it, a lot of open spaces, and it's sparse. It gave a lot of room for you to focus on what he was saying. Get Down was musically, it was a much more fuller track. It was more musical. There were no holes. In other words, the music is just constant.
Here we go. Can leap us all buildings, rest the earth for fun. But I'm saying ain't no fair, yo, when them ain't no fair. The mic's now in the right hands, cause the Mac's on the earth just to foil your plans. Pep in the pepper, that's in the pepper.
As far as the loop that I created, the sample in the background. So now you have something that's a little bit more dance, a little bit more up-tempo. You have something that is a little bit more up-tempo, and that's what makes it even the more danceable. So, and mind you, none of this is going through my mind like I'm trying to create a certain formula or do a certain thing. He was just trying to do the best track, and I guess he was just trying to write the best lyrics. There was no magic. It was just us trying to make the most banging hip-hop thing that we could at the time. I remember the pressure from Puffy, though. He's like, yo, come on, man, you got to give me another one. And, Puffy, he was he would come down on you. He'd put that pressure on. Yo, after this flavor in your ear, man, yo, tell me, man, you gotta come with another one. You need another one. I was like, yo, I got you. I would go home and concentrate. Brought that back to the studio. Shout to engineer Bob Basie Brockman. I remember being in the Hit Factory, and I don't know, something he did to the bottom of the track for the bass line. You had a Hertz that was hitting so low. I can't even describe it. It's like bass that goes so low. Maybe you can hear it, but you feel it more than you can hear it. Equal to things they talk about like dog tones. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
the record was just EQ'd that way. And when I first heard it, I said, "Oh, shoot, we got another one." And I had to go and check out for myself at the time. The Tunnel was real hot. Funkmaster Flex, rest in peace, DJ Big Cap. They were down there, and everybody was telling me, "Yo, you better come now to the Tunnel and check out. Yo, they running your joint down there. You got to come see this." And I went down there, and I saw it with my own eyes. It's like the whole club erupted as soon as the records came in. It was just an amazing time, man. It really was.
Easy. I want to talk about this real quick. When Craig Mack passed, obviously everyone mentions Flavor in Your Ear and, even Get Down. But when he passed, on your Instagram page, you said the man who rapped What You Gonna Do When God Comes has unfortunately passed away yesterday on March 12th, 2018. What was the importance of the track When God Comes for you, and then how did the track come together?
Well, the importance of When God Comes on the Project Funk the World album to me was about time that a rapper, someone in hip-hop, stood out and just totally threw themselves into the state of conviction, not having anything to prove, gangster-wise, as a ladies' man, or whatever point it is you feel like you had to prove. Craig seriously lowered his guard. You understand? When he did that, in my opinion, in the history of hip-hop, I think he kind of broke the mold a little bit. That's not very easy to do. Hip-hop has always been about bolstering. You know what I mean?
Right.
Hip-hop, to me, has always meant I'm better than you. And that goes for the beats. Of course, it goes for the lyrical, because we see, MCs naturally, they battle each other and everything. So hip-hop is all about, I got something to prove. And out of a lot of that, you get a lot of, bravado, chest pumping, and all of that. But in the case of When God Comes, you got to think about it, man. That's a serious thing. This brother lowered his guard and took some time out on his hip hop album to say, "What you gonna do when God comes?" In other words, what he was speaking of, basically, in other words, he was speaking about the rapture. He was speaking about Judgment Day. That just struck me like, and then I myself, I'm a strong believer in God too, so I was totally okay and fine with it. I wasn't trying to tell him what to do on the record. I looked at it like we were making history just by him lowering his guard, and the dude was praising God on a hip hop record. That's huge. I don't know if I could say that was the actual first in hip hop, but with When God Comes, he was telling us, other hip hoppers, it's okay to believe in God. It's okay to fear God. That was huge to me.
What was the reaction by, I mean, industry people, Puffy, or even the fans at that time to that track?
Well, I don't know. I think When God Comes is something that I guess Puff kind of took it like, if that's the song you want to do, yeah. I mean, musically, sonically, when we would play it back in the studio, he was like, oh, yeah, Puff, he loved it. But I'm pretty sure topic-wise, there's other songs that he would gravitate to more.
On Instagram, you also wrote a story about trying to persuade Craig Mack to make music again. For you, why did you want Craig to make music again?
I said in that post that I did on Instagram that we had a long talk over the phone, and I was trying to persuade him to rap again. Come to find out, I don't know if this was pre-recorded stuff or if he was actually laying down new tracks, but supposedly there was an album that he was working on with Eric Sherman too.
Right. Yeah, that's what
from his camp, and I had a conversation with him, and because he changed his life and turned his life over to God, he got this new direction. Of course, he was kind of reluctant to getting back on the mic because, compared to a lot of the other stuff that he was rhyming about. And I don't know, I guess he was just kind of scared to rap again. And I made it clear to him. I told him, I said, look, Craig, rap is like glass, man. It's a vessel. Rap is like a glass. You can fill it with water, fill it with orange juice, fill it with Pepsi, with soda, and then you can also fill it with liquor. Yeah, you get where I'm going. So then I told him, I said, so for you, look, if the rap glass gets filled with gangster, if it gets filled with sex, if it gets filled with straight bravado, you can fill it with your message. Mm-hmm. I said, say what you want to say, man. And I said, and the souls that you want to reach, I said, you'll still be able to get your point across, and you will reach the souls that you want to. And it was like, okay, Moby, all right. I sent him 5 to 6 tracks, something like that. I still got them bunched together downstairs, and as far as I'm concerned, they'll always stay bunched together in memory of him, But I sent him those tracks, and I didn't hear back from him again. I didn't want to rush him. I wanted to give him some time to lay with the tracks and feel comfortable enough to have time to write to him. So about 2 weeks later, something like that, I hit him back up. He didn't hit me back. I tried one more time. I tried another time. He didn't hit me back. By that time, we were nearing the end of the year, and the holiday was creeping in. Thanksgiving to Christmas and all of that. So I'm real occupied with the holiday season. Mm-hmm. The turn of the year, 2018, comes in, and I still got Craig on my mind. I'm wondering about him. And just being busy, still moving on. I'm not really tripping. I'm not really thinking about it. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, where's Craig? What did he write to those tracks? And then come to find out, March 12th, 2018, about a week ago, somebody announces, and as a matter of fact, the first news that I got was from DJ Scratch. He was the one that told me, he said, yo, Craig Mack passed away. And he just left that one sentence. I'm like, nah, stop playing. Call DJ Scratch back immediately. And he confirmed it. For anybody that may not know, DJ Scratch being the former DJ for EPMD, Craig Mack, he told me, used to go on the road with EPMD, and he explained to me how Craig Mack was his roadie back in the day. He explained to me that I'm talking about DJ Scratch. He explained to me that one of the only duties that Craig had was to carry his turntables, or whatever he needed carried from the truck or the limo or whatever it was to the hotel, from the hotel to the venue. And then when they got there, it was Craig's responsibility to hook up the turntables. And Scratch told me, he said it got to the point where Craig got so good at it, he never ever had to worry. He'd be at the hotel or whatever. When he got there, all his stuff would be set up. But in that conversation, man, initially with Scratch just sending that one sentence about, yo, Craig Mack passed away last night. I was like, what? Like, stop playing. And Scratch is not one to play jokes, so that one sentence just scared me. I had to call him. I had to know more. I had to confirm it and prove it.
Easy. I just want to. I know. I thank you. I appreciate this so much, and I just have one more question. What would you want the listener or his fans or even hip hop fans to take away from Craig Mack as a person, but also as an artist? And what can another artist learn from him about working in studio, writing, etc.?
If there's anything that any of the artists out there, or anybody, especially those in music, if there's anything that you could take from Craig Mack, make your own, I would say don't be afraid, like he was, to lower your guard. Be open to throwing your soul into the state of conviction and just bearing all. You know, those are the kind of records and those are the kind of artists that always are the most successful. Those that bear all, those that lower their guard, throw themselves into the state of conviction and give you a real true peek into their soul. That is the definition of real soul music.
Easy Mo B, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to talk about the late, great Craig Mack.
Oh, no problem, man.
I bet you buy shit, come by fatter. I got the data, turn your body into antimatter. And just like a piece of sizzling, you'll fit inside my stomach with the eggs and grits between. The king is what I mean, my man, get a cup and put some change inside your hand. Now hold up, let's make this official. Everybody, let's agree that MCs need a tissue. The folks my only issue. I bet your mama miss you, and I bet the Mac take off like an MX missile. No more you whining on the charts climbing as I make the phone kicking out more harder than a diamond. And if you didn't know who's rhyming, I guess I'm gonna say Craig Mack with perfect timing. You won't be around next year. My rap's too severe, kicking mad flavor in your ear. Here comes a brand new flavor in your ear. Time for new flavor in your ear. I'm kicking new flavor in your ear. Max, brand new flavor in your ear. Craig Mack, 1,000 degrees. You'll be on your knees and you'll be burning, begging, please. Brother, freeze. Man's indisputed and deep-rooted. Folks smoke and leaves your brains booted. This bad MC with stamina like Bruce Jenner. The winner tasting MCs for dinner. You're crazy like that glue. That think that you can outdo my 1-2 that's sick like the flu. Shake 'em down, boy. I flip, boy, all the time. Cause, boy, the rhyme you kicking ain't worth a dime. Seems like there's no competition in this rap world expedition. You come around and knock you out position. Knock 'em out. No flame could ever dig a grave. Both the Mac, the power pack, and black make you see men crack. And here comes a brand new flavor in your ear. Max, a brand new flavor in your ear. Here comes a brand new flavor in your ear. Time for new flavor in your ear. I'm kicking new flavor in your ear. Max, brand new flavor in your ear. Here comes a brand new flavor in your ear. Time for new flavor in your ear. I'm kicking new flavor in your ear. Max, brand new flavor in your ear. Hi, Max dope with more hope than the Pope, but for MCs more knots than rope. I'd like to break it down, breaking, forsaken laws, the MC shaking with this track that my man's making. MCs will run like a bomb threat, I bet, or better yet, make you sweat, getting hotter than the sun gets. Craig Mack is the flame that drops from here to Tibet. I break all rules with my action. That the Maxins and MCs stop relaxing. This brand new sheriff that's in town is getting down, leaving bodies buried in the ground. I set up rhymes for a decoy down for bad boy. Watch the MCs not destroy. And here comes the brand new flavor in your ear. Time for new flavor in your ear. I'm kicking new flavor in your ear. Max, brand new flavor in your ear. Here comes the brand new flavor in your ear. It's time for new flavor in your ear. I'm kicking brand new flavor in your ear. Max, brand new flavor in your ear. Ha!
Whether you're a morning person or a bedtime procrastinator, everyone deserves a mattress that works for their style. And you'll find the best mattress for you at Ashley. The new Temper-Adapt collection at Ashley brings you one-of-a-kind body-conforming technology, making every sleep tailored to be your best. The collection also features cool-to-the-touch covers and motion absorption to help minimize sleep disruptions from partners, pets, or kids. Shop the all-new Temper-Adapt collection at Ashley, in-store or online at ashley.com. Ashley, for the love of home.
Meet the next generation of podcast stars with SiriusXM's Listen Next program, presented by State Farm. As part of their mission to help voices be heard, State Farm teamed up with SiriusXM to uplift diverse and emerging creators. Tune in to Stars and Stars with Issa, as host Issa Nakazawa dives into birth charts of her celeb guests. This is just the start of a new wave of podcasting. Visit statefarm.com to find out how we can help prepare for your future. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.